Longtime reality star Omarosa Manigault, who amazingly worked at the White House at one point, has a warning for Americans who want the president impeached. Be careful what you wish for. In an appearance on yet another reality show, Big Brother on CBS, this happened last night, Omarosa blasted the vice president as a religious extremist. Watch.
Can I just say this? As bad as y'all think Trump is, you would be worried about Pence. We would be begging for days of Trump back if Pence became president. That's all I'm saying. He's extreme. I'm Christian. I love Jesus. But he thinks Jesus tells him to say things. I'm like, Jesus ain't say that. It's scary.
Meanwhile, over on The View, another reality show, the host there characterized the vice president's religious faith as mental illness.
Look, I'm Catholic, I'm a faithful person, but I don't know that I want my vice president, you know, speaking in tongues and having Jesus speak
like
to
I said before,
I don't know if I want
it's
that.
one thing to talk to Jesus. It's another thing when Jesus talks to you.
Exactly. Okay, well, that's different. That's different.
That's called mental illness, if I'm not correct.
Piers Morgan is editor-at-large at dailymail.com, and he joins us tonight. Hey, Piers.
How are you, Tucker?
So what do you make of this? But both of Omarosa's latest incarnation as a political pundit and of the dismissal of religion as mental illness?
Well, look, first of all, I find it absolutely ridiculous that we're even having to discuss Omarosa in any serious political context. And the only reason we're doing that is because she was allowed to have an office in the West Wing of the White House for nearly a year. I don't know why Donald Trump would have ever let her in there. She's already behaving exactly how I could have predicted she would behave. In other words, she's squealing like a canary and taking them all down, as of course she was going to. She's Omarosa. She's a reality television star whose only raison d'etre is to be a poisonous little viper, spreading gossip, innuendo, and terrorizing everyone in her wake. So, first question, what was she doing there? There is no sensible answer.
I mean, for all the time we spent on the Russia story, this is a bigger scandal. I agree. She worked at Omarosa worked in the White House. Really? Why? Democrats didn't even notice. I guess she's too, you know, she seems normal to them. I guess. I don't know.
Well, the extraordinary thing, I think, is we have all this stuff about Rob Porter, which is a very serious matter, and it's quite clear that he shouldn't have been there either, given what we now know about him. And there are questions for the administration right to the top about who knew what, where, and when. But if we're going to apply that logic and judgment to Rob Porter, where was the same logic and judgment about having Omarosa with her own office in the West Wing? I mean, it is almost beyond parody. And yet there is a serious point to this, Tucker, which is who is the president surrounding himself with? You know, I have a lot of time for Donald Trump. I've known him a very long time. I met him when I took part on Celebrity Apprentice with Omarosa. But he's got to have better people around him in the White House, I think, than the types of people we see with Rob Porter and Omarosa.
Yeah, I mean, I think Omarosa's probably in her own category. I can say, having, you know, been over there a few times, that it's not chock full of Omarosas, but she did work there. She became famous for being horrible. I don't think that's an overstatement. You worked with her on The Apprentice. What's she like?
She's absolutely appalling. I mean, literally one of the worst human beings I've ever encountered in my life. And I've encountered a lot of bad people. She has no saving grace. She was vicious, conniving, scheming, plotting, treacherous. I mean, her first gambit to me, day one, first challenge, she sidles up to me. I've never even met this woman. And she says to me, hey, Piers, we should have a showmance. I said, what's a showmance? She went, you know, she said, on The Apprentice, everyone has sex together. So you and I could do that, and then we could sell it and make loads of money. I said, are you completely deluded? What? Please go away. She said, what? What's the matter with you? Are you gay? I went, no, just because I don't want to have sex with you on this show, that doesn't make me gay.
So anyway, this was your Me Too moment?
Literally, for about... Well, you know, I'm a victim here. I'm a victim of Omarosa, Tucker. But she gave me then for 4 or 5 weeks unrelenting 5 barrels of abuse, tirades, homophobic stuff, and really vicious, nasty stuff. And I couldn't believe it. I mean, she got beaten in the show. I ended up winning it. That stuck in her mind as well. Cut forward to the campaign, I think in the middle of 2016, I suddenly read she's going to be working for Donald Trump, the candidate. I'm like, what? How can that even make any sense? Then I hear when he wins, she's going to be in the White House. Now, again, I have a lot of respect for Donald Trump, but I'm afraid with Omarosa, this made no sense at the time. It makes no sense now she's left. She apparently achieved absolutely nothing in her time in the White House other than disrupting everybody. And you can just bet your life she was there listening, plotting, scheming, probably tape recording. We're now going to have Celebrity Big Brother and all the stuff will come out of that. Then we're going to have the book, then the docuseries, and then the Lifetime movie, Tucker, at which point you and I are going to have to leave the country because it is so ridiculously absurd.
That's one of the most vivid descriptions of anyone I've ever heard. Have you been in contact with her? I suppose you're not texting each other still.
You know what? We have not stayed in touch. I did bump into her once at a WWE wrestling event. And it's funny, the nausea I felt in the exact moment that she made that proposition to me all came flooding back. And I literally had to run to the restroom and regurgitate exactly what I had done all those years before. You know, she is beyond any reproach. She's a professional agitator of epic proportions and probably the least trustworthy human being ever conceived on God's earth. And for her now to be laying into Mike Pence about religion when religion has somehow created this monster is beyond any sense of realism you could ever wish to have.
What a life you lead. Running into Omarosa at WWE is so fantastic. Piers Morgan, come back anytime. Great to see you.
Oh, well, good to see you.
Thank you.
Why was Omarosa working in the Trump administration? So Omarosa Manigault was on The Apprentice, fired 3 times, and then Trump hired her for the White House and then fired her again. And now she's on Celebrity Big Brother, where apparently there are rumors that she was slipping out of her robe. I haven't actually watched the show, and now I have no desire to do so. But Omarosa actually, on the show last night, she ripped into Mike Pence.
Can I just say this? As bad as y'all think Trump is, you would be worried about Pence.
I know.
So everybody that's wishing for impeachment might want to reconsider their life.
Absolutely.
We would be begging for days of Trump back if Pence became president. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, the violation of norms that went on here is why in the hell was this woman anywhere near power? She was a celebrity reality TV contestant, and then she was ousted, and now she's back on celebrity reality TV. I mean, there's a hell of a career arc. To go from reality TV to the White House and back to reality TV, just spectacular. But is that violation of presidential norms severely damaging to the United States in the same way as, say, a prior administration refusing to hand over intelligence data? I don't think so. And now look at the White House response to Omarosa. Okay, let's look at the White House response to Omarosa. So Omarosa yesterday, to go back for a second, Omarosa Manigault is a person who is on Trump's reality TV show. She was fired 3 times on his separate reality TV shows. Then he hired her for the campaign, and then she was working in the White House, basically walking around doing stuff that nobody knows what she was doing. And then she came out yesterday, and on TV, she said that everything at the White House is awful. Here's what she had to say.
No, I'm not there. It's not my circus, not my monkeys. You know, I'd like to say not my problem, but I can't say that because it's bad.
Oh, it's so bad. Okay, so she says all this stuff and people are, oh my goodness, the crying. And yes, Trump picked this person to be in the White House. Solid staffing pick by the president. She then came out and she said that she would not vote for Trump again if she were given the opportunity.
Would you vote for him again? God, no. Never. A million years, never.
Not in a million years. Okay, so how did the White House respond to that? The White House ripped the crap out of Omarosa. So you have a guy in the White House who's credibly accused by 2 ex-wives of beating them, and the White House quasi-defends until the last minute. Omarosa says, I won't vote for the guy again. She was a reality TV star. Was this non-predictable? Right? And here's the White House ripping Omarosa.
What is the White House's reaction to comments made by former White House aide Omarosa on Celebrity Big Brother, where she said, quote, she is haunted by the president's tweets. She described the situation inside the White House as bad and said it is not going to be okay.
Not very seriously. Omarosa was fired 3 times on The Apprentice, and this was the 4th time we let her go. She had limited contact with the president while here. She has no contact now.
Okay, so I love that. They fired her 3 times, but then they brought her back the 4th. Right? And then they fired her a 4th time. But they're really pissed at Omarosa. But Rob Porter, you know, they're really dicey about, which demonstrates that when it comes to the Trump administration, loyalty matters a lot more than competence, and that's a serious problem. That should not be the case at any business. Loyalty matters. Competence matters more, particularly at the level of the White House, right? People who made one anti-Trump remark during the campaign have been banned essentially from the White House, or at least were when they originally staffed it up. And that rules out a lot of pretty competent people because they weren't quote unquote loyal. And so you end up with loyalists who may not, in fact, be particularly competent.